5 props in 60 seconds. That is the name of the game. In this video, I have 5 player props for Sunday's NFL slate, and then I have 60 seconds for each of them to try to convince you guys to put some of your money on them. I really like all the plays in this video, and we're going to dive into them in just one moment. If you are new, my name is Austin from Call on Our Shot. This is not the only video we do for Sunday's NFL slate. We have a couple other videos. I will link them at the top of the description. The first one involves every spread, money line, or total that I like for this weekend, going through every single game, including the Monday Night Football games, which will have videos posted on late Sunday or early Monday morning. And then the second one is our props and parlays video. That's where my anytime touchdown parlay is. That's where we find a couple other prop overs that I really like. Some guys that have big days. I encourage you to tap into those. Those are linked at the top of the description. Before I dive into things, I do want to mention Parlay Play right now has a free square. We love Parlay Play here. We'll be using them a ton this NFL season and mostly in the NBA. Take advantage of the code COS. You'll get this free square for Trevor Lawrence on London's early game. If you happen to see this after the fact, you can still sign up with using our code COS. They'll match your first deposit up to $100. Pretty cool offer. Take advantage of that. But we got 60 seconds. I'll have a little timer on the clock after I announce the play. 60 seconds to kind of describe why I like each of them. We're going to start with this first one, and let me we'll talk about it, and then we'll talk about the play, and then we'll give me 60 seconds. The first one, Aiden O'Connell. Well, I love his first name. My name's Austin O'Connell. I love Aiden O'Connell. We're kind of fading him under 32.5 passing attempts as my chair keeps going down. I do want to note before I even talk about why I like this and put a timer, this actually bumped up to 33.5. So you actually will get a better line. Rarely do my plays get bumped up in the wrong direction, but hey, this is one of the few, might be the only one so far this season that's bumped up. It says under in passing attempts. I took 32.5 at minus 114. You can probably get 33.5. I think Aiden O'Connell's going under, and here's why. 60 seconds. In his first start of the season last week in week 6, Aiden O'Connell, the Raiders got smoked 32-13 in that game, 27 of 40 for 227 yards. So did go over. We need him to go under 32.5 or 33.5, whatever you guys get. Now, if you look at this matchup against the Rams, I don't mind fading him and taking an under here. I don't think they're going to need to pass as much as they did last week. If you talk about the guys that he has to pass to, Devontae Adams, he's a New York Jet now, and Jacoby Myers is doubtful this week. So this is a guy that doesn't have a lot of pass catchers out there. Brock Bowers, sure. But there's a Rams team that has struggled to stop the run, 3rd most rush yards, 4th most rushing yards, yards per attempt, and or 3rd most rush attempts, 12th most yards per attempt. You see the numbers on the screen. Additionally, here's the QBs that they've gone against. Not a single one has gone over this line. They've actually allowed the fewest rushing pass attempts in the league because they struggle to stop the run. I mean, look at all these guys. They're all soaring under this line. The closest was 30 by Brock Purdy. I think this is a great spot to fade Aiden O'Connell. I don't think I'm fading him in terms of his regular pass yards, but that's the end of the timer. I think this is a good spot to take his under and pass attempts. I don't think he's throwing it as much as people might think. So again, Aiden O'Connell, first play in this video. Under 32.5 passing attempts. Like I said, you might be able to get a 33.5 line. I'm playing that for 1 unit. My second play, before I start a timer, is going to be Alec Pierce, over 16.5 yards for his longest reception at minus 115 on DraftKings. This is a half unit play. I don't want to lose a full unit on a long reception prop. They can be a little fluky. I almost threw something after Troy Franklin on Thursday Night Football, got a 12-yard catch. He quickly followed it up with a 30-yarder, so I let him get by. But they are a little bit variable. There's going to be some variance in these long reception props. If you want to take his regular over in yards, that is 24.5, just a half unit. Here's why I like Alec Pierce. In 3 games so far started by Anthony Richardson, Pierce has gone over in all 3, 60, 18, and 44-yard long reception. And the 3 games started by Joe Flacco, 9, 65, and 0 yards. He didn't even get a single catch last week. 0 for 4. I think he had 4 targets. We know Anthony Richardson. Is he the greatest QB in the world? I don't think so. But what he does love is chucking the deep ball. And look, I think he's going to be launching it deep consistently to Alec Pierce, his deep target. So far this season, you've seen them connect on 9 passes. A lot of them have gone for a lot of yards. And you look at Pierce's average depth of target, 26.2 yards. He has 551 air yards, the 6th most in the league. And out of receivers with 10 or more receptions, he leads the league with 41.6 air yards per reception. This is a guy that's going deep. So we don't want him to get 10 catches each for 10 yards. We just want one long one, and that's all it could take. And why I love this one, Miami, 4th highest passer rating, 11th most passing yards, and 10th highest adjusted completion rate to deep pass attempts. And that is why I like Alec Pierce over in longest reception for just a half unit play. I think it is a sneaky one, but I really like it. You can take the 24.5 if you want to. I personally don't see a lot of value taking it because, well, he's not going to be catching a ton of passes, if I'm being honest. So I like this at 16.5 for a half unit. Let's get back to the 1-unit plays. Let's have another under. This one's going to be Kareem Hunt of the Kansas City Chiefs under 52.5 rushing yards, minus 113 on FanDuel, a 1-unit play. I'd play it to about 48.5. I am fine fading Kareem Hunt this weekend, and here's why. Through 2 games so far, as Kareem Hunt's been back with the Chiefs, he's gone over in both of them. 69 and 102 rush yards on 14 and 27 rush attempts against the Chargers and the New Orleans Saints. I threw out the game against the Saints because the Saints literally can't stop the run. I could run for 70 yards against them. They stink. But I think after easily clearing his over in rush yards, his over in rush attempts, people are hammering the rush attempts at 12.5 or 13.5. Surely he went over in both of those 2 games. He's going to, again, go over easily. I don't think so. Rush attempts props can be a little bit sharp, and I think this is one that they're pretty sharp on. I don't like this matchup for him. I think this is a terrible matchup. On the season, the 49ers are allowing 80 rush yards per game, only 4 yards per carry to running backs. That's both 10th lowest in the NFL. Since week 3, so the last few weeks, 3.6 yards per carry, 6th lowest. We saw them shut down Kenneth Walker III. I don't think Kareem Hunt's good. I don't think he's good. I think he's looked good the last 2 matchups because they've been pretty solid. I want to fade him. I think this is a spot. I don't even think this is his backfield 100%. Clyde Edwards-Helaire might be back. I'm fading Kareem Hunt. I like his under 52.5 rush yards. I don't think people are going to like that one. I think everyone's going to be on his overs thinking, oh, he just went over the first 2 weeks with the Chiefs. Bye week, he's going to easily go over. No. Give me the Kareem Hunt under. I like the under at 52.5 for a 1-unit play. My 4th play in this video is another half-unit play. It is Calvin Ridley over 4.5 first quarter receiving yards at minus 115 on FanDuel. I understand if you don't have a first quarter receiving yards line. I don't know if I'd play his regular line. I actually was either going to go 4.5 first quarter or 50 plus receiving yards, which is like plus 180. I'm only risking a half unit because I'm not losing a full unit watching Will Levis be a straight bum or throwing the football. Instead, I will lose a half unit in the first quarter, and then I never have to watch that game again. I can turn it off, and I can just go back to red zone or watch other games. Here's why I like this spot, though. Last week, everyone was on Calvin Ridley's over. Surely, after 2 straight duds, they'd find the way to get in the ball, and they did. 8 targets. 0 yards. He did absolutely nothing last week. And they talked about in the press conference how they need it. And even Calvin Ridley said, I need to get going early. You can't just start chucking it to me late in the game and expect me to be in rhythm. I expect some early targets in this game. It could be a quick route, out route. It could be a curl. It could be just an easy 5-6 yard catch in the first drive that gets Calvin Ridley engaged in the game. If they don't get that, whatever, then I'll take my L and move on. But I think this is a spot where they have to get him going. I'm only risking a half unit on this one because I'm not using a full unit watching Will Levis. I'm just not doing that. But I almost took Calvin Ridley in a long shot parlay for 50 plus receiving yards. I think this is just a spot that they'll be chucking it a ton. I think Calvin Ridley will get involved early. I think based on all the coach speak, what Calvin Ridley's been saying, you'll see him get involved early. So again, just a half unit on his over 4.5 first quarter receiving yards. If you don't have first quarter props, which are available on FanDuel, and I think a couple other books, DraftKings posts them, just they wait until closer to on Sunday morning. I do like Calvin Ridley. I think he gets involved early. I don't mind the 50, but 5 is a lot less than 50. And if he doesn't get anything in the first quarter, I don't want to be watching the rest of that game. No thanks. And then my 5th play in this video, which I'll have 1 minute to explain why I like this. Hopefully you guys enjoy this little video. I think it's fun. 60 seconds, quick in and out. This is a 2-leg parlay. It is David Montgomery under 65.5 rush yards and Josh Jacobs under 75.5 rush yards at minus 102 on DraftKings. I am well aware if you try to go and look at their regular lines, they are not 65.5 and 75.5 respectively. But I do like the under, and I like these all unders which DraftKings offers. You can take the regular under. Last week we did a same parlay. It was Rico Dowdle and Javonte Williams. Those both guys didn't get close to the regular line. So if you are going to do that, I'd probably want to do a half unit play on each unders parlay together. I'd rather put them together than put a unit on each of them. I like to fade both these 2 guys. And I like these alt lines that DraftKings offers. And here's why. This season, the Vikings, we'll talk about David Montgomery first. The Vikings are a tough matchup. 5th fewest rush yards per game, 6th fewest rush yards per attempt. Last year versus Minnesota, Montgomery struggled 55 and 40 rush yards. And that was when their defense wasn't as good as it is today. They've had a bye week to prepare for this Lions defense. And if they're going to do anything, my guess is stop the run, blitz Jared Goff, and try to get him uncomfortable. As if you can hit Goff once or twice, he's going to get nervous and he's going to just start chucking the ball and you won't know where the heck it's going. And so I think that's going to be the goal here. Only one guy has gone over this line versus Minnesota this year. That was Jordan Mason. He gets all the work. You see that David Montgomery, he splits a lot with Jahmyr Gibbs. So I like Gibbs a lot on Sunday. Additionally, Josh Jacobs, why are we fading them? Tough spot. The Texans allow the 7th fewest rush yards per attempt. Jacobs under in 4 straight. He's also not the number, well, he is the number 1, but Emmanuel Wilson gets a lot of work there. And the Packers are pass happy. If they get trailing, yeah, Josh Jacobs go sit on the bench. We ain't throwing it. We ain't running the football. They throw it a ton. I think they won't be able to run too successfully. So again, I like feeding both these two guys at some alternate lines. David Montgomery at 65.5, Josh Jacobs at 75.5, both alt unders. I like the under on the regular yards. I just rather buy a little bit of insurance here, maybe 10 yards, maybe in case it gets pretty sweaty. I got a little bit more wiggle room than people that take the regular under. But again, I like both these two unders for each of those two respective guys. So that's another 2-leg parlay. That's my 5th play. That's a 1-unit play. So in this video, we had 3 1-unit plays, 2 half-unit plays. So in total, 4 units risked. And I like what we got cooked up for y'all. So again, I have a couple other videos live for the NFL. The first one is props and parlays, 4Ps. That's linked at the top of the screen right here. Go check it out. You'll find my anytime touchdown play, plus 3 other wide receivers I like to have big days. And the second one, if you go down below, is our spreads, totals, money lines, whatnot, that Logan and I go through every single game, give a favorite spread, total. And that kind of normally does dictate how I think some games are going to play out and ends up leading towards some props and stuff. So, of course, I encourage you to watch those 2 videos, and we'll have day 2 of the ladder challenge. Once that is live, I'll link it over here. Have a great Sunday. Good luck on all your bets. I'll see you guys back in some more videos on Mondays for NFL, the 2-game doubleheader. And then we'll have Tuesdays NBA action. Get amped up. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.